And we are live. Hello, everyone. This is the Ninja DC joining again from another podcast. This time, joining me again is random Skype order, Carlos.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, the Gunmetal Gator here from Alligator Streams. I hope you enjoy my pleasant company.
Next up, Jenn.
I may be first, I may be last. I may be struggling for a catchphrase, but I am first and always Jenn. Hello.
All right, and then possibly joining us later is Second and or Day. Work schedules are conflicting right now, so sort of a surprise for all of us involved. But yeah, I guess who wants to go first? Who we've been up to, media sort of wise.
Well, let's see. Me, I have not been up to anything media-wise, honestly. So yeah, that's all I got. So nothing new on my end.
No new retro game you started?
No, not yet. Not yet. I'm trying to figure out what Switch game to start first. Animal Crossing or 3M or 3 Emblem. I know I need to get back into Ring Fit.
You mean Fire Emblem Three Houses?
That's it, yeah.
Seriously. Trust me, honestly, I would recommend the Three Houses part.
Okay.
Just because, like, the voice actors in that one, they're just great people just to see them live stream and such, like, doing, like, their own games and such.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, such pleasant people to be around.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Like, no matter what choice you have, like, it'll always end up as something good, depending on, like, your beliefs.
Now, I forget, have we mentioned you having a Switch yet, or?
Actually, I've been borrowing. Actually, a friend of mine is letting me borrow hers for a while.
All right, works out, and yeah, you can definitely. I would definitely also recommend. Depends how long is a while, because I would also recommend trying Xenoblade 2 and or 3.
I know one thing I want is I definitely want the I definitely want Bayonetta 3 on my Bayonetta 3 is on my list, and definitely Breath of the Wild's on my list too.
Breath of the Wild or the sequel or both?
Both. First, but first I'm going to start with the first one first.
All right, Carlos, you want to go next?
Okay, so right now for me, certain animes in the summer season has ended, and I can now give my reports on them. I'd first like to start out with Overlord season 4, and they did it. The Kingdom of Riestes is no more, and it was such a beautiful end to that country. As in, it was just absolute carnage. Overlord being the grim, dark isekai story for all ages. Showcasing, like, even if those who usually have hero tendencies just don't get it in the end. And that the villains ended up winning, including, like, the evil princess, who decided to have her own demented Disney princess song. And I'm like, this wasn't even in the manga or stuff like that.
Uh-oh, what happened?
No, he's not muted, but he.
It was like just dropped something.
I wonder if he disconnected. Let's see.
Uh-oh, technical difficulties.
Well, maybe not. We don't. He's not muted officially on Skype, so I'm thinking he dropped. Well, that's to kill time until we figure out which. So is it you're borrowing a Switch or a Switch portable, the one that's only the portable one.
The actual Switch with the
Right.
yeah, the actual Switch.
Joy-Cons.
Mhm.
Alright. Yeah, because do you usually play it docked or in handheld mode?
Oh wow, see, I haven't done it in months, so I've mostly been doing it with the dock. For the Ring Fit, I do it on the dock because I have a big projector screen, and it's I don't know, it just seems better to do it on the screen than it does for mobile. But I think when I play Three Houses, or Animal Crossing, I may do the portable. I think for a Ring Fit, I might do just the dock version for the other two. Maybe I may switch. See what I did there? I may switch from either or, just to, I guess, for variety. Just depends on what my mood is.
Yeah, when
I'm
I
back.
first got my
I'm
Switch,
back.
I mostly uh,
Hey.
back.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry. I just this was giving me like a camera just so I could test that out for myself later on. But yeah, I was going to say like Overlord basically it feels great for being like the reverse of like a typical narrative is. And then we get to Made in Abyss season 2. My goodness, if that's not
I hear that's from what I
like
hear, it goes even darker than the original season.
oh, it's absolutely darker. In which you end up like supporting like a genocidal princess. Yeah. When the main characters side with her because that ends up being the dream of like the mother who gave up her life to become like an entire civilization. Yeah, there's gonna be some hard feelings. And like basically everyone in that village is basically dead. Except for the princess. It's like it's like a lot of pain. We learned some new stuff, including about Reg's previous life in which she was like super close with like the princess before, in which she was basically like his betrothed. But now due to the amnesia plot, it just really messed up their relationship and such. And now there's a tentative like a plot hook in which like she may come back to travel with them, but for now she's just basically just gonna explore by her own for the meantime. So yeah, it was um it was something truly amazing. As someone who likes looking through like mystery dungeon stories, Made in Abyss feels like the most darkest extent you can ever go for a mystery dungeon story, and I loved all of it. Hmm. Then I guess aside from that, this isn't an anime. Oh wait. There's Classroom of the Elite season 2 actually. That also ended recently. And my goodness, we keep on having the fun stuff. Like the second to last episode basically showcased 16 minutes of pure unadulterated fight choreography animation, in which they did not like sugarcoated or did anything lazy. They just showcased like the main character who's a psychopath, just basically like just going in for like hooks, being intelligent about whatever move he does, and literally being able to choke out like the most physically daunting opponent that anyone has seen in the anime so far. And now that he's no longer like on like the drive of like trying to get like his class like all the way up to like A class because he was lied to by his own teacher about that. He now has like new plans, including like kicking off one of the students by like the next semester now, and now having to deal with like the class A's best student, who's came from like the same specialized program that he came out of, saying like he's the fake genius while she's the actual genius. So season 3 is just gonna be, oh, we're gonna be dealing with Class A now. This is gonna be hot. This is gonna be so much. Like, it's basically like high school drama, but intensified to like an extreme extent. Like, that's how Classroom of the Elite does it. And then, Vanguard Will Dress ended its episodes this Monday for season 2. Sorry, not season 2, for season 1 of Will Dress, which technically makes it season 3, but we ended off with like a clearly plotted to see like game-ending win for the main character, but it just felt really fun throughout it, like all the exhilaration, all the energy. But now the biggest hype for me is the fact that Vanguard is about to make its first steps into America for the anime. I'm just going to repeat myself. We've been all throughout like Asia, possibly even Europe as well, like in some of the later seasons. But we have not touched the US of A. And the first shot we see is literally the Big Apple. My goodness. Season 2 can't come soon enough. I need to see it. Like in New York. You can't tell me this is not real. Please tell me we're actually going to see a more diversified cast of opponents. I would kill to see, like, I don't know, maybe some black characters. I don't know, maybe some white people. Like, you know, we've seen a lot of Europeans, a lot of, like, Indians. Or not a lot of them, but, like, at least one representative of Indians, French. Well, multiple cases of French in the case of, like, actually traveling to that country. And then I think it was like in Pakistan for one representative, and then one from like Peru. Yeah, that was the only other cases that weren't from Asian countries for Vanguard. So that's really the thing that's got me very psyched up, like just being able to possibly see more representatives of people like that from around the world, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, like, Harley Quinn ended its season 3 with like a very heartwarming ending for like the couple of Horror Ivy, in which like they don't end up like having like the relationship like shrivel up or anything like that, but instead they come to realize that like they have different wants as they're different people, and they can accept that because their relationship is very open to like them facilitating their wants and needs. And then also season 3 was like the biggest like bizarro world season, in which case the Joker becomes the mayor of Gotham City through legitimate means. Batman was considered a villain, in which he literally unleashed a zombie apocalypse just to bring back his parents. And then Batman ends up getting arrested by the Joker, which the Joker already knows his identity is Batman because of like an earlier scene all the way back at season 1, episode 13. It's legitimately like one of those points of like, yeah, this world is all mixed up. And now Harley Quinn is joining in to assist the Bat family now, because she's starting to realize that she still wants to help people. Maybe not in the same way she was before as a therapist, but wanting to use her violent tendencies for that cause now. After realizing that she couldn't push herself.
Is this the Batman story, The White Knight?
No,
it's not Joker. It's not the Joker.
Show.
It's not the Joker being the hero. Okay. The Joker is being the mayor in this case.
Okay.
Joker is being the mayor right now, and it's not like a horrible place because like he's the proud father of like an adopted family, and like a wonderful wife as well.
Oh, like that reminds me of the show Gotham when Penguin was mayor.
I gotcha. All I'm just saying is like it's really interesting, like seeing this, and also seeing like Poison Ivy actually go full on in and being a villainess,
Huh.
and not just being sugarcoating or saying like, oh no, I'm just like an eco terrorist. No. This season had her really on the wheel, like, huh. So Batman, so like Bruce Wayne decided to take Frank from me and do all this, huh? But now I have the power to control everything. I'm gonna use these zombies to try to create my new Eden now, and no one can stop me. Until Harley sacrifices herself in order to stop Ivy from doing all this.
Wow.
But yeah, like Harley Quinn is definitely like, I'm very happy that we actually still have a season 4 to look forward to, because like now we're getting into the parts of the comics in which Harley is now part of the Bat family. What sort of fun shenanigans can we see with Nightwing, Damian Wayne, and Batgirl basically being the head of the Bat family right now?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Honestly, I think because I basically watched this series through clips on YouTube. But honestly, I think this is probably the best season yet for Harley Quinn.
I need to
And I
actually.
think
You talk about the animated Harley Quinn.
yeah.
I need to see it. I need to actually break down and see it.
Like I said, you can watch a whole bunch of it on just YouTube through clips like I do. But I feel this season's stronger because it's less about like flipping, basically being a parody of DC Comics, like, especially the first season was, and more of like its own thing. Like it is a parody, but it's like in its own lore at this point.
Oh, may I interject here? I did find one media thing surprisingly today, actually, if I may share.
Yeah.
All the little teasers there. Oops. Hang on. Never mind. I'll be right back.
All right.
Uh-huh.
My train of
Yeah,
thought.
train
Let me
of
see
thought of other stuff.
Oh no, I was saying like I feel season 3 is probably the strongest because it feels like it's most standalone, and Harley is less obnoxious this season.
Mm.
Because that's like the most thing I hate about it, because like both season 1 and 2, there's a long stretch of Harley just being like just obnoxiously annoying, while like season 1 was pretty much like I don't need the Joker on my own villain thing.
But then backtracking because like she still hasn't really gotten over him fully.
Yeah, then like season 2 is more like, okay, I am my own villain thing, and I am going to be the best. Like you respect me, blah blah blah. And here just feels like, okay, she's less obnoxious and just sort of like her own character. Like she has her own flaws, but they're less like explosive flaws this season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and more like, okay, more grounded. So like yeah, it's because like in season 1 too, like just be frank, Harley can be really annoying at times.
Mm-hmm.
Or in this season, like she actually sort of by the end becomes probably one of the best, like arguably the best character again.
So basically, season 3 saved the show.
Yeah. But also like yeah, like one thing I have to speak of Joker, like some people like is like, oh, it's sort of funny how he's basically a socialist. I guess the thing is like socialist Joker who's like all about healthcare and all that.
Yeah.
And the thing is like it's funny, but also it still works with the Joker.
Yeah, like I mean, he's taking the money from like the rich and just spreading it out to the poor.
Well, wait,
Like,
like because fundamentally the Joker like is always about basically saying the biggest joke is society itself. So him being a socialist and basically trying to break down the current societal structure is still sort of fundamentally part of the Joker's identity. So even though he is a family man, the mayor, and sort of a good character, he's still sort of serving the same role as being like an agent of chaos, but this sort of that's like breaking down societal norms, but sort of in a more positive light. So like I say, it's like that's what I say. That's why he is still the Joker, while he's still being all these other things. And also, like as like the fun now, I show like he's still the freaking master manipulation.
Yeah, like people are hoping like season 4 is just gonna be like Joker is gonna go off the rails, like because like it just feels like it's a lot of build up. It feels like it's a lot of build up, like slowly putting the pieces together, arresting Bruce, making the rules, dismantling Gotham PD.
I mean, I hope they don't back. I hope they like the biggest hope for season 4 is I hope they don't backtrack the Joker, and they do keep him still as like the family man and all that. But, like maybe not mayor anymore, but like I could see him basically overextending himself and basically having to backtrack or something like that.
I gotcha. No, I gotcha.
Or I
No,
could just like own up to him being the mayor and just like that's how this series ends. It's like, oh, he's the mayor of Gotham. He's still like this to his role. And like I just hope they sort of don't like backtrack. It's like, oh, let's kill his family and get the Joker back to Joker. It's like,
no.
don't pull a comic.
They had the opportunity. They didn't take it. I'm pretty sure they're not doing it.
That's why I said I hope they don't pull a comic book and do that.
No. They had the opportunity back in the Killing vote. They had their opportunity. The fact that they didn't take that was like the thing that cemented to me, oh no, this is actually sticking. And I dig it. I dig it so much that they did not backtrack there. Even if it was Two-Face doing all that stuff, because that was also the other thing. Two-Face was like one of the last remaining like villains from like the season 2 like taking over Gotham plot, and like he was still trying to like get back into like his position of DA through trying to get like Gordon like into like a mayoral office, and it was like,
I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to take a quick call. Sorry about that.
no, that's fine. That's fine. Like Two-Face feels like he's the most expended like secondary character right now. Like working as like an antagonist for multiple parties right now. And like the fact that like he still was able to like survive through all this, like I don't know what role they're gonna have him do for like season 4, since like his candidate clearly failed. But I don't know if they're gonna be finished with Two-Face or not. All I'm just saying is like maybe we could get a resolution on his plot. Like him failing to get into this position.
I don't think he's done yet, just because like it's like with Bane, like they don't unless they kill the villain, they're coming back.
Yeah, I mean Bane is a treasure. Bane is a treasure.
I meant to. Sorry, sorry about it. Sorry about that. I wanted to I had to take a quick little call first before I mentioned the media thing that I was saying. Is it okay if I still say it?
Go ahead.
Okay. The one thing I just found today was apparently teasers for Deadpool 3.
Oh yeah. Bring it up. Bring up that.
As a Deadpool fan, I must, when I first saw the thing about with Ryan Reynolds, I was like, what in the world? I was so curious about it. I was like, what is this? And I saw like the thing about it, and then he made that thing about, hey, you want to play Wolverine again? It's like, sure. I was like, what is happening? And then you see the actual logo with the Wolverine claws. I'm like, and then like coming 2024. I'm like, and I had to like sit in and stare into space for a few seconds. I was like, what? We're actually getting a Deadpool 3? I mean, I didn't ask for this, but yet Yet Ryan Reynolds is going to deliver a Deadpool 3, and we're finally going to see him and Wolverine and Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine again, and they're on screen together.
It's like that like Hugh Jackman's job was never done. He tried to get out with Logan.
He's not done yet. It's like
And
one of them. It's like one of them relationships. You think you're done with the person, but then they do something. But then all of a sudden you find yourself back. You find yourself back in again. But then again, something tells me that those two clever girls have been planning this for years. I imagine them in some secret fortress of solitude, bonding over some brandy and some aviation gin, which, by the way, I need to try. And they're like, okay, we are gonna blow. How many? We have a plan here. We're going to blow up every fan's minds with this. Okay, and it's got to be epic and over the top. So how are we going to do this?
I mean, honestly, their relationship could be traced back as far back as like X-Men's Origins Wolverine. And
exactly.
It's just,
I mean, that's where we first saw. That's where we first saw Ryan Reynolds as the quote introductory. We're going to call it the introductory Deadpool. Well, actually, no. We're going to no. We're going to call it for what it is: the wrong Deadpool.
The thing is, like, I just don't want to get my hopes up yet, just because this is under Disney now, and it's like,
ooh,
Disney.
Like, yeah.
To be frank,
Disney owns Marvel.
To be frank, I'm not worried about being as bad as like the Wolverine Origins film, where like, it's not going to be that bad under Disney. Dear Lord, I hope not. But
yeah, I hope not either.
But I do feel it will probably not bite as much as Deadpool 1 and 2.
Right. That's why I was staring in the distance. I was like, wait a minute. This was fine as it was. Like I truly did not need a third Deadpool, but I wasn't going to object to it, but I didn't put it out there in the universe or anything. But yet it's happening. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm truly was like, I really, for real and for true, do not know how to feel about this. I'm not sure if I should get excited or not.
Well, I think ever since the second Deadpool trailer made that joke saying, yeah, you 2 movies that fans like and just stop right there. You killed it. I think it was destined for there to be a third movie.
Yeah, and they always say like, hi, by the way, hi, second. And
hi there.
And by the way, they always say like good things come in 3, bad things come in 3s, or good things come in 3s, or 3 is a magic number or something. And I think that's the problem. 3 is a magic number because every single thing is a trilogy. Star Wars did it multiple times. Indiana Jones did it. I forgot. I think maybe. Yeah. No, they're on number 6, aren't they? Wait, in that case, if it's 6, then
I think it's 5.
Never mind. Okay.
The original trilogy. Well, there was an original trilogy to Indiana Jones, so there's that.
Yeah, and I have to say, if this is the final one, then for God's sake, let it die, please.
Let it be. Let it
die. Let it shrivel up and die.
Well, if there's anything, I think that the franchise might want redemption after Crystal Skull.
Okay.
Which I didn't even see, so I have no business saying maybe it's good and the fans are just nitpicky. But
here's the thing: this was shocking. I mean, I heard some that Harrison Ford was actually looking excited for it. I was like, wait a minute, he's not looking like F my life. He's not like F my life on the
like he was with Han Solo.
Hear about this?
Yeah.
What the hell is happening?
Well, there is fair, like since yeah, go ahead.
Let's say, to be fair, like Harrison Ford, like Indiana Jones isn't his favorite character he plays, but he does enjoy playing that character a lot more than Han Solo.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got like vibes about that he had more fun playing the real series characters. Like, I don't know how he feels about Blade Runner, but definitely Indiana Jones, Jack Ryan. And Jack Ryan, I feel like, he could get on board with those kind of characters more than Han Solo. So it was like something freaky when I saw him like get excited about it. I was like, what the hell's happening? What? Who put Viagra in his coffee? What happened? What's going on here? Is this the end of days? But then I thought, wait a minute, this is Hollywood. He probably got a sweet paycheck. Like, never mind. Ugh. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, back to Deadpool 3. I am not sure what to expect. And I am coming off of, oh boy. And I'm going to try my best not to get, I'm feeling a sort of way of this. I am coming off finding out there's going to be, a remake of The Never-Ending Story in 2023 or 2024. I don't remember what year, but there's going to be a remake of the Never-Ending Story. Who wants to come to Hollywood with me and burn it down? Any takers?
I seriously feel conflicted.
I'm not against the idea of remaking Never-Ending Story, but it's one of those things like
please,
everyone, the odds of it being.
Please, everybody, listen to your elders. Listen to your elder right now. No. I made a Facebook post and it was like, no.
Like I was saying, I'm not against the idea, but like the odds of execution being done well are very not in its favor.
Not. Absolutely no, 110% no. Listen to your elder here. I suggest all of you just watch the first Never-Ending Story, and that is all you need. The second is okay. Do not watch the third. It is absolute crap. Do not watch the third. If there is an animated one, you know what? For shits and giggles. Oh, excuse me, my language. For giggles and such, if you want to watch the animated series, fine. But the first one is all you need. The first and second is the first is all you need. That is required. That is your homework. The second, if you must, for extra credit. The third is an absolute no-go. Abandon hope, all ye who dare to enter there. But in other words, I do not approve of this remake. I don't care who you cast in it. I honestly, for true, I do not care who you cast into this. My answer is no.
Yeah, like I said, the odds are not. It's like a Disney live action remake. It's like it could be good. The odds are it's not going to be that good.
My fear about this is that they're going to do, they're doing the live action Little Mermaid thing, right? And the whole controversy about Ariel being black. Okay. You know what? As a person of color, you'd think I'd be cheering about this. Part of me is, but at the same time, it's like, it's such a lightning rod because I feel for the actress, I shudder to think the kind of hate and whatever the actress got because of all the mad moms and those who are like, Ariel just wasn't black, but it's the one thing that just drives me crazy about it. I mean, my way of thinking about it is like, okay, well, that was a choice. I'm honestly surprised they went with that choice. I mean, I was shocked, honestly, but I was like, okay, so you made that choice. There you go. Okay. And still, I don't think I'll see it because I've already seen The Little Mermaid, and yeah, I don't need a remake. Thank you very much. I'm cool. But if you want to make Ariel black, by all means, go ahead and give yourself, good luck trying to give yourself diversity points. But I have a fear of this is what they're going to do with the Never-Ending Story. I have a fear they're going to cast Bastion as a POC, and it is going to be like bait, or cast some sort of like high profile A-lister in there, and that's also going to be bait. It's going to scream bait for people to bite and everything, bite the bait. And completely alienate those that actually watched the first Neverending Story and loved it for what it was.
It's
All right.
I
But
guarantee if they make
it's
Bastion
sad.
say a little black boy or whatever or something, I'll be like, ha ha, bait. I'd be like, ha! I know it. It's a trap.
Hmm.
all right. But second, we're just going over what we've been up to. What have you been up to with your media and entertainment stuff?
Oh no, I scared him off.
Yeah, he's muted, so it might be pick the
Sorry,
wrong time to ask. But I
sorry.
guess I might as well go off to my stuff, which is like well, let me see, like game wise, I haven't really played much because after finishing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like I didn't really move on to another big game yet. But I did when my PlayStation Plus subscription was getting ready to expire for the year, I decided might as well just do the premium thing and try see what it's all about. And I got that, and with that, I got Stray for free, air quotes. So I played that game, the one cat game that's making
How,
internet rounds.
how is that?
It's good. It's basically sort of like I wouldn't say a walking simulator sort of game, but like it is very much like a puzzle interaction game. It's a nice, good like 5 hour sort of experience. So yeah, it was very good, pleasant, short little game. What I say everyone should get it for $30. I would see a lot of people not appreciating that, but like, it's still I would say a good game. Maybe get on sale or something like that. And then besides that, like, everyone else is muted right now.
Oh, we're just making sure we're. I feel because I think Gator and myself have set our pieces and everything. So and yeah, we're trying to make sure
Right.
you talk, and I think I scared second off. Feel bad.
But yeah, other than anime wise, I haven't finished it yet, but I've been catching up and nearly finished with the cyberpunk anime Edge Runners, which is I don't know how it's going to end. I don't because I haven't reached the ending yet. I do know some spoiler things which I could guess, but yeah, like depending how they stick to lane, this is easily one of Trigger's best anime. Which actually will come up a fun, interesting like news point when we get around to that.
Cool.
Fun little news story with that. But yeah, it's a nice little fun anime. I haven't finished it yet, but it's sort of interesting how it is sort of like a cyberpunk show, but also like a lot of the story is very, you can sort of tell influenced by like 90s and early 2000s gang movies.
Oh yeah.
Where it's essentially like where you get into the gang life and it's like basically you live the gang life, you die the gang life. And you can really tell that's a big theme with this.
I've heard of Bug Life, and now it's gonna be Gang Life.
But yeah, like if you've ever seen a whole bunch of like movies in that era, it's like Barry's like someone's like, oh, here's this one whippersnapper who's like he's well behaved and like he gets turned by a friend into the gang life, starts kills someone randomly, then like over the course of film becomes a cold-blooded killer and all that, and eventually gets gunned down by another gang because he pissed off. It's a very 90s, early 2000s like gang theme thing.
Sounds very much like Scarface to me, but pretty close.
Yeah, Scarface is like that's more 80s and all that, but like it's sort of more drug related. But like this is more like close knit gangs instead of like. But Scarface also I think might have influenced that too because that predated it in the 80s.
Oh yeah, definitely like God, and then like the predecessor like Godfather and Goodfellas and such. Like Godfather, Goodfellas, Scarface, probably. She was the other one. A Bronx Tale. That's a good one too. New Jack
Yeah,
City.
like that's
New Jack City. That's a great one too.
yeah, but yeah, that was sort of like an interesting. Like I said, I haven't finished it yet, but it is definitely one of Trigger's most like interesting anime they released as of late. And again, now we're going to bring up more in a news story, which is a funny little point.
Cool.
But second, are you back yet?
I think he's muted.
All right.
I promise the rant's over. I tossed my soapbox to the curb.
But I guess we'll go through some of the news stories first, I guess, and some are we have sort of the least info about, even though it's big and all that. Because as I said, this sort of podcast is more about just catching up with each other and also like going over news. That's sort of the theme of this one. No main theme this time. But oh, you back, Carlos?
Oh yeah.
All right, but yeah, the one thing I was just highlighting is like, yeah, I'm finishing up the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime. I don't want to say yet if it's good or not because Trigger has a good thing, has a habit of making really bad endings. But as of now, it's one of Trigger's best, I would say.
Oh. That might actually entice me to actually watch it. If you're saying like it's one of Trigger's best right now.
Yeah, because like I was explaining to Jen, it's very much like a cyberpunk sort of like setting, sort of future like Blade Runner-esque sort of thing. So like that theme, but also mix in with like the themes of like a 90s and early 2000s gang movie, where it's essentially like you get sucked into the life and then you end up being killed by the life.
Alright.
Like what I'm talking about, like that sort of theme that was very popular in the 90s and early 2000s. And so I like that, but also mixed in with like a cyberpunk setting. So yeah, it's so far, like I said, it's too soon to say because I think I have 2 episodes left. But yeah, I would say it's one of like their best, and you can sort of see how they're sort of getting ready for cyberpunk setting with like basically that similar setting to B&A, where B&A is technically set in a modern setting, but it is also sort of like cyberpunk sci-fi in some areas.
I gotcha.
And also just tonally, like even though it's more modernist setting, it's still tonally set like sort of like hallmarks of like cyberpunk. Like big corporations and like street like gangs and all that. Like, yeah, it's sort of like that tone, and like I was saying, you can sort of see how that sort of encouraged them to do like a actual cyberpunk setting with cyberpunk. But yeah, I have a news story with that later.
So I think there's only one last thing I should probably mention. Have you guys been following Rick and Morty recently?
Loosely aware of like basically in the what's the word, like a nerd osmosis sort of way.
Yeah, because season 6 is basically like just being like, okay, whatever happened at the end of season 5 is just gonna carry throughout the rest of like the season 6, like as the writers intent for it to be a very much more plot heavy season. And it's already showcasing a lot of consequences, a lot of like interesting shortcomings that the protagonists really have to go through, and they're probably some of the most weirdest out of context relationships you'll ever see in any media.
Oh yeah, like that's one thing I've been spoiled. Like is like, oh yeah, that like the ending of an episode is like, oh, that took a weird turn. From like again YouTube clips, helps keep me up a lot of these shows. So like I said, it's weird. Like I'd say I actually prefer like that ending went because like, oh, they're not gonna do a breakup plot line now. Again, it's like, oh gosh, just no. It's like no, they actually went with a communication and interesting like but compromise sort of way. Huh. All right.
It just gave Jerry the win. Like Jerry has been getting nothing but wins this season. Yeah, it's been such a weird journey. Like, Summer has been shown to be like, okay, I'm super competent, I'm able to do much of everything, but then also showcases like a deep resentment for her grandfather at the same time.
But also
Yeah.
want to say the one other thing I want to say about this season. Like I'm aware of a few different things. One that like stuck with me because I think I favorited the video just to keep up with it is yeah, all I'll say is like Mr. Frumples, I think is
Yeah,
like one of the most
Mr.
horrifying
Frumbles,
concepts.
Mr. Frumbles. Yeah,
What is one of the
Mr.
most
Frumbles.
horrifying is one of the most horrifying concepts they've shown on that show, and I love it.
It's literally one of those creatures that you can't underestimate. Like, legitimately. Such a horrible being. Like, it just consumes everything. And then fumble like mannerisms. Just awful. Just really dang awful. And then I
Mr.
guess
Frumbles, that's what it's called.
yeah, Mr. Fumbles, that's why I was saying it. Like, just yeah, because I can still remember its eeriness 4 weeks later. You can't unhear it. Once you experience it, you can never forget it.
It sounds like that psychological horror movie Smile. Is anybody gonna go see that?
No.
No, I'm not.
I mean, I like psychological horror, but I hate jump scares.
Jump scares suck.
Actually, just
I
for a
am-
reference, I'm just actually going to copy and paste that Mr. Frumples thing. I just want to watch it with everyone.
Yeah, just go ahead and show everyone. Yeah.
Oh no!
Just to show like this is one of the most like weird but like
What is this?
horrifying concepts
Oh no!
I've seen.
And Rick and Morty. Yeah.
All right, it's a short clip, so like 40 something seconds, but like it's
Yeah.
let's see, history. I'm gonna just post the link directly. Everyone tell me when you have like it
Mhm.
when you have it when you're up and watch whatever ad is stuck with it. And just stop at 0. Let me see. Copy a link address. There we go. And doot. And control. Oh yeah, control. That's how.
Just waiting for it to be typed out. There we go. Mr. Frundles.
Mr. Frundles, what is this?
Switch and save 600.
Pause it at 0.
Okay, sorry, what I missed?
Well, we're about to watch a clip right now from Rick and
All
Morty.
right.
Morty.
Of
And I thought
Rick
I
and
scared
Morty.
you. For a minute,
Yeah.
I scared you away. I scared you away. My little tirade about the upcoming never-ending story thing.
There's an upcoming never-ending story movie or
yeah,
show or
remake.
something.
Yeah, it's gonna be a remake.
Am I gonna have
boy.
to? Oh boy. Okay, I gotta. Okay, rewind. Okay.
All right.
10 seconds.
Everyone
5
get
seconds.
up.
There's
0.
going to be a live action never ending story movie in 2024. And I, for one, say no. There we go.
Oh, and the never-ending story. So there.
Yeah, and then for
Alright.
me, I only brought up Rick and Morty because I honestly feel like this might be the strongest season coming up.
Second, have you seen the original never ending story?
Yes, I pulled my own earbud out of my ear. But yes, I have. And I saw the Nostalgia Critics review of the others, plus the last 20 minutes or so by pure happenstance on TV one day. And for that, I will say, I don't think the never-ending story has anything left to lose.
Oh, it has everything to lose. It has all its integrity. It has its integrity to lose.
Well, 3 already did away with that, so...
Yeah, okay, point taken. Okay, point
okay.
taken. Yeah,
Alright,
three did away with that. And I feel like you don't need, like, this horse has long been dead. You don't need to resurrect it like Frankenstein style. It does not need a modern remake. You don't have to do what they did for Little Mermaid. I swear that I was saying, like, I swear if they do what they're trying to do with a live action Little Mermaid, I'm gonna be like, it's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
It's a definite trap. And I am forever, and as an 80s child who was forever salty at the Gem of the Holograms remake, I feel like they're gonna do the same thing to Neverending Story, and I, for one, cannot stand for this. So I was saying to, like, everybody, who wants to come with me to Hollywood and burn it down?
All right.
For what is worth, never endings. Okay, yeah, we'll watch your thing now. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just like, I don't really watch Rick and Morty, but I do see clips, and this is one that's like, I would say this is one of the most...
A Rick and Morty clip.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the most horrifying and interesting concepts they've had, and I've seen from the show. All right, does everyone have it set at 0-0?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, everyone press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
I found in Rick's room.
What the heck?
Mr. Friendly. Wait, but I thought he was Mr. Everybody in the car now.
Just no.
It was cute. You know how hard that shit is without portals? Can't we just go back and fix it?
Huh.
Yeah, that planet was...
Yeah, that's well.
Well, on one hand, yeah, terrifying. On the other hand, it's almost too overpowered to take seriously. Like, what if I could poke my finger and mind wipe the entire universe to do what I wanted and no touchbacks? It's like, well, then that would be irrevocably horrible.
Well, I have to say that that is definitely they got the makings of a horror movie.
I mean, yeah, like, put a little more slow burn into it, and yeah, that could get under your skin pretty good.
Yeah, we were talking about the psychological movie, horror movie Smile, and I was asking if everyone was going to see that, and I'm like, okay, I can definitely see why it'd be a horror movie. And now Mr. Frundles, I'm like, okay, I see why that would be a horror movie too.
Mm-hmm. Alright, but yeah, that was our updates. Like I said, going to what I've been up to. Then Carlos mentioned like Rick and Morty season. What have you been up to?
6,
yeah.
What have I been up to?
Yes.
Yeah, entertainment and media sort of wise.
Well, we Dayliver and I saw Cobra Kai season 5 together. Not only awesome, maybe the best season yet. Like,
hey!
Okay, look. I wanted to stand up and cheer when, like, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka, Daniel and Johnny from the original movie, were like suddenly had one of the most successful shows on television, and they were big news again, and like the charm that they captured before was getting its due and everything. But the guy I want to stand up and take my hat off to is Thomas Ian Griffin, aka the bad guy from Karate Kid 3, the main bad guy. Because, like, I don't know if anyone here's ever played sports or anything like that with a bad coach or like a bad peer, just somebody who, kind of overvalues machismo and dominance and like almost, figures out how to control people with that. But there are your John Kreeses who, just try to overwhelm you with it. But there are also your Terry Silvers who are able to lace it with charisma and do it that way. And despite the fact that they gave him all kinds of over-the-top 80s villain tropes, I think that's why people remember the performance. And yeah, he just about killed it. I think I just remember the feel of him matching people who used to have me under their wing telling me what to do. And he, like, as much as there was a question mark around him, this guy who retired straight up from acting well over at least 5 years, and I think more than that, before Cobra Kai came out, people were like, okay, what's he going to be like? And for him to have like this much charisma, this much range, and this much athleticism all this time, and for Hollywood to have thrown him table scraps for a couple of decades until he retired, I'm like, okay, yeah. Just he got to be, I'll to simplify, the main villain for 2 seasons of one of, if not the most popular shows on TV, and he killed it. It will go down as the finest thing he did in his whole career, and I could not be happier for him that he got it. Like,
Ooh.
bravo. He should have had a 2-3 decade career playing, physical villains and stuff like that. He should have been like the Christopher Lee of martial arts movies or something like that. Or he was more of a martial arts movie bad guy. Yeah, who plays the heavy. I don't know. It's the thing is, all the martial arts superstars end up playing heroes at some point, but
true.
And being best known for that. But I mean, no, he totally should have been one of those, macho villains for decades on end. And I mean, it's like, I guess better late than never, huh? Because he is, one of, if not the best parts of 2 of the best seasons. And in the case of season 5, possibly the best season of the show.
That's so great. It's just so great with Cobra Kai, and it just and just how awesome it is. Like it was like it's a resurrected thing from like decades old, and yet it's got a true brand new following now.
It's so true. And I mean, like shows, movies you were into when you were younger, even the sequels that kind of sucked, and like, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street, for example, how that had its own lore that developed over the movies, and maybe the movies themselves weren't that good, but some of them were, and you wanted to follow it. You wanted to know more about everyone, and now Cobra Kai has mined and proved that the Karate Kid did have that, and there was something there that, if you could do it the right way, was worth expanding and exploring. And it's like, yes.
They totally did what a lot failed to do. They completely just told a brand new story and brought it to a whole new generation. That is not easy to do. And you still, at the same time, still honoring the past.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, look, shows and movies were failing to do it even before the whole, Hollywood mining past properties phase that I guess that's what we're calling it now. But long before, there was an Odd Couple 2 30 years after the first classic movie. There was a Psycho 2 and 3 and 4 starting 20 years after the first movie. And actually, those were probably some of the more successful ones. 2 is not half bad. 3 is passable. I gave up on, I didn't even try for 4 because it's a made-for-TV movie. But I don't know, occasionally you'd have your, I don't know, Mission Impossible revival series that got adequate reception, or like I said, Psycho 2, but mostly it has not been successful.
Oh, totally. And somehow just Cobra Kai is like has somehow like beaten it, and it's just, man, just kudos to everyone who worked on that, because they say, like, the whole cliche of lightning doesn't strike twice. Well, somehow they got it. And somehow they got it, and it struck again. And that's it just makes me smile all around whenever seeing it. I'm like, man, this just reminds me of, like, I can't talk. It's just a wonderful experience. It makes you remember why you fell in love with Karate Kid series, and at the same time you feel like you've grown with these characters, and again a brand new story, and it's such respect. That's what I meant to say. There is respect for this title, and it shows. There is such respect for this title. It shows, and it feels like you are with every character in there because there is such respect there.
Hey, very, very often. And look, and yeah, heck, to not go sideways, to keep a fan base saying, yes, this is what should have happened for this long. Like, I mean, currently it just has the magic touch.
Oh, totally. And the first thing I thought, I was like, what, you're telling it from Johnny's side? I'm like, and then all of a sudden I got into it. I was like, oh, I didn't think about that. And I didn't think about that. Wow. And in a sense, it's like they just flipped the script and everything. It really tells it from a different side, and it works. And yeah. Same with you. You're cheering for both Johnny and Daniel. I'm like, yes, this is awesome.
And on that note, I kind of love that they didn't just it wasn't a total meme capitalizer, like, oh yeah, let's give the people trying to be edgy boys saying, oh, Daniel was the real bully because I can bad lawyer him to death. Like, no, it's let's Daniel be Daniel and Johnny be Johnny as they were and as they
and nobody was like, and they didn't pose Daniel as like, okay, as being like the perfect guy. It's they showed another side of the happily ever after. It's like they made them really fallible characters, because when you're young you make mistakes. When you're growing up, you make even more mistakes. And both of them made their mistakes and took their licks and everything, and they both have grown from it. They both you see that the evolution truly didn't end after the first round of movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I won't act like the show.
Sorry,
go ahead. Yeah, finish.
I was saying, but as I said before, it's so convincing and everything that none of them are perfect. Johnny is not just the stooge, the bad guy, and Daniel is not the hero. It's not just the hero. There's one scene that I absolutely love, in which, I love it. They bring back the actor who played Chosen from that movie, and I was just like cheering so bad. I was like, yes! And they have that same round, and they intersect movie scenes from that one movie that we were both in, and then Daniel gets beaten by Chosen. But the whole evolution is, and he's like, okay, I've been beaten, and then Chosen kind of grins and, like, in a way, he's like, you're grown soft, so I can help, and he helps Daniel up, and it was like, talk about moments where you were just fist pumping in the air. Oh yeah.
And if you haven't seen the most recent seasons, let me just say, don't think that Chosen has made you smile for the last time.
Oh, I believe it. Oh, I believe it. I definitely believe it.
Yeah, that actor might have had a slightly better career than Terry Silver, but I'm like, give him an honorable mention for someone I want to give that round of applause to. Like, glad you're having your long overdue moment.
Oh, totally. I was just so cheering I was cheering when I saw Chosen again. I was like, yes, welcome back, man. I'd only seen him in like two other movies. It was like, there was one bit part in Contact, in the movie Contact. He just like one scene in Contact, and I remember where it was. Then there was another one. He was in a Disney movie, Johnny Tsunami, with, that
was him.
Yeah, he played the dad in Johnny Tsunami, but the grandfather was played by the gentleman who plays Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movies. I can't pronounce. I only know his first name is Kerry, and I cannot pronounce the other two. I want to say it's Hiroyuki, and then I can't remember the last part of the name. But I know his face. I know his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the one who played Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat series, in the Mortal Kombat movies. I don't care what anyone says; those are fun. And he played the grandfather in Johnny Tsunami, and it is so good. It is amazing. It is amazing. It's totally
It's one of
different
the more
from
fun
Shang Tsung.
Disney
It's
Channel
completely
original
Shang
movies,
Tsung.
yeah.
It's completely different from Shang Tsung. But if you're
Yeah.
expecting him to say, "Your soul is mine,"
Mm-mm-mm.
but it's completely 180. But anyway, the actor who played Chosen was in that with him, and that was the only times I saw him. But here, seeing him back, I'm like, where have you been, man?
Yeah. Hallelujah. And also, yeah, apparently Johnny, the actor, William Zabka, stayed friends with the original Cobras all throughout.
Yeah.
And yeah, a couple of shout outs for them too, because yeah,
Yeah.
apparently of all the ones for their reunion episode to revolve around, you wouldn't expect Get Him a Body Bag Tommy, like he was one of the stoogier ones, but I mean, yeah, like it just really worked. And I mean, apparently it's no coincidence that that actor was able to bring that persona to his character, because everybody said like actually in real life he was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he also turned out to be terminally ill like his character, so there might have been some of that in there.
Yeah, that may have been. But yeah, that's always like kind of heartwarming and at the same time heartbreaking to hear.
Yeah. And as a side note, the one who is now a preacher of Johnny's old friends, like that guy is another one who was a martial artist even before he was cast in the movie. So
Hey.
yeah, him jumping around and doing some pretty decent kicks in there while playing the role that his comparatively nice guy Cobra would probably be playing all these years later. He finds God. That's how he copes with
Oh my gosh.
having been grifted to be a jerk.
Someone needs to make a side series of like the Kung Fu Priest. If it hasn't been done already.
That would be kind of great.
I'd be like, that'd be perfect. Like, I could imagine Kung Fu Priest. Like, I've already got the trailer idea, everything to be like, blessed art thou, pop, pop, pop.
I'm just picturing Dead Alive now. I kick ass for the Lord.
That's it. But there are those who kick ass, but I kick ass for the Lord.
Here.
Love it. Hey, if there's stuff like Shaolin Soccer and what Shaolin Mahjong can be made, or Kung Fu Hustle can be made, then Kung Fu Priest can be made.
Yeah. I think they're all by that same actor too, all those comedy martial arts things you were talking about.
You're probably right. And who hasn't said he probably hasn't made what I just talked about already?
Yeah, jeez.
Probably. By the way,
Stephen Chow, yeah.
And if he has, yes, Stephen Chow, that's it. And if he hasn't, I gotta track that thing down.
Okay, but yeah, the quick notes on the other things. All right, we've had Paramount Plus. We still have another free month on that for now, so we've been binging all their stuff, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which what a John Hughes buddy comedy would look like. Turns out it has a pretty a little bit of heft to it, so props to him there.
Yes.
Let's see. The Fighter about Mickey Ward, the boxer, which when I heard that, that movie's been floating around my radar for a while. When I heard it was about him, I wasn't sure what to expect, because he's not supposed to be, he's not really considered any kind of all-time great, and if he's some kind of an underdog, I'm like, well, yeah, get in line, underdogs, what's so special about him? And it turned out the answer was his family. He had one, an older brother, and that's Christian Bale's character, who's skinny as heck. I guess he got himself in shape that way, but he also is playing a character with just no typical Christian Bale flavor in him. This guy who describes his fighting style and should have described his whole self as squirrely as fuck, as he puts it. Mickey is a straight up the middle, get inside and deliver those proud thunder punches. And his brother Dickie, that's Christian Bale, is really squirrely and dodgy and had his whole career ruined by a crack pipe. But before that, he sort of knocked down Sugar Ray Leonard or something, so he's got his one moment that he's bragging about to death, and making that the reason that Mickey should let him run his whole career along with their mom, who both together just, would rather have Mickey as their little puppet instead of somebody who could actually pay him to train year round, and anytime somebody offers, they're like, he's probably a thief and a user, and they have to crap all over the offer just so to make themselves feel like they're better.
Mm-hmm.
Until, and apparently this did really happen, he meets a no-nonsense small-town gal who even got out for a minute and tried to go to college, but decided it wasn't for her, who, is patient with Mickey and gets him to actually talk, something he doesn't do very much at first, and, encourages him to make the right decision.
Right.
But then it throws another twist in there as, Dickie is hitting his lowest point ever, and, in jail, arrested, waltzing out to watch the premiere of the documentary about how crack ruined his career. Like, hey, the star is here of this documentary about how I threw my life away. It's like halfway through it, there's like this bizarre moment where he suddenly starts to like see himself for the first time and realize what he's watching, and like it flips some kind of a switch that he like grows instantly disgusted and almost tries to get the whole thing, the movie, turned off. And then when he's sent back to his cell, he like starts getting back into shape, and critical part here, tells Mickey contradictory advice from his new trainer about how he should fight his next fight, and Dickie turns out to be right. Mickey does what he says and wins out, so it's like, gee, okay, so who's going to win out after all here?
Right.
And for the right reason or not. So, very strange, but experience that was definitely worth my money there. So, it turned out very interesting.
Yeah.
And, I guess the most interesting thing, though, besides that is, I'm reading Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, I thought I saw a post about that.
Yeah, that was, it was on sale at Barnes & Noble. What can I say? I'm a writing major. My list of good literature that I've read is severely deficient. Hearing about the concept, I couldn't help but take some kind of an interest, and heck, I'm watching it through. Although I will say, I just got to the 5th circle of hell, and Dante is touring it with his hero, Virgil the poet from, what is he, a Roman poet or a Greek poet, Virgil? Well, anyway, Virgil, he can't technically go to heaven because he wasn't baptized, but he gets to live in the 1st circle of hell. The 1st circle is for people who basically weren't baptized or who came along before Christianity did. But if they were Christian prophets, then Jesus apparently came by later and got them a get-out-of-jail-free card. But the 1st circle of hell, there's no actual punishment there. It's just not heaven. That's the punishment.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, I will say though, like, it's a very dense read. You have to be at all times be in, okay, the word is not actually the word mode, just like, okay, what did he mean by this? So prepare to be engaged if you're reading it. But I'll also say that I think I think I made this part of my post too. I think the 4th circle of hell, that was I think God was trying to think outside the box there, and it didn't come together quite like he wanted.
Right. I'm not afraid of wordy, but I can understand the wordiness of it. I mean, I tried to read Alexander Dumas' Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm like,
okay,
I'm like, oh my god, and then I'm like, oh my god, now I know why the movies exist.
Sometimes. And I mean, Divine, like Inferno and the others in the Divine Comedy, I mean, considered possibly the greatest works of literature of all time. You have to will yourself to appreciate the poetry on some level, but it is. You have to be actively engaged. But like I said, 4th circle, that one's greed. Now keep in mind, the 3rd circle for gluttony is you're up to your knees in a dirty, slush rain and hail that's constantly pounding you, while also Cerberus, claws and slashes whoever in the circle he wants to play with. And fifth circle is the wrathful, have to tear each other limb from limb, like on the surface of a hot, almost boiling water. Or if you're a passively wrathful, you have to sit in the near boiling water under the surface. The fourth circle, the punishment is you have to choose either Team Miser or Team Spendthrift, and you have to roll, I think what's implied to be a giant bag of gold around you have to roll a boulder-sized bag of gold in a circle, and when your circle, when you come face to face with the other team, whoever's in the circle there, you have to roll your boulder of money at the other guy, and it inevitably bounces off in a stalemate, and then the whole time you have to chant your team anthem at the other side. Why do you hoard? Why do you waste? And that's it. That's your punishment.
Wow.
All right. But yeah, we need to.
All right,
go
sorry.
on to news because I just gotta move on to news because it's getting late. I have work tomorrow.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But yeah, some of the news stories are more quick highlights. But one is a big news story, but I'm still not aware of exactly all the details. It's a weird combo, but yeah. There has been a major leak at a game scene where Grand Theft Auto 6 was released all over the internet. And yeah, a whole bunch of basically the ye old phishing scheme happened where some employee working from home clicked a link, and yeah, there's a lot of public files now about Grand Theft Auto 6, it actually exists, and here's some characters and voice acting for it and all that.
Wow.
And Take-Two went hard on the person and basically worked with the FBI, and the suspect, as I recall, was already arrested and all that. But so I don't know all of what was leaked specifically because Take-Two was very strike happy. So the whole bunch of news and confirmation about Grand Theft Auto 6 was announced. Let me see. Then going into more other short news, sort of big short news, but it's also actually sort of bad, but short news actually relevant to second is Kennywood had an issue last week where had a shooting within a theme park. So that happened.
I didn't even know about that.
Actually, that's fun. I thought it would have been all over local news.
You would think, but I have not heard a thing about it. Enhanced security policies. Jeez. I was planning to go there soon too, and gonna hope that lightning doesn't strike twice. Okay. It says they're up in security.
Seems basically an extension of those basically personal fights that have happened in a lot of theme parks. But someone tossed a gun over a fence seemingly and went after someone. But it wasn't a mass shooting thing. It was a very targeted personal thing.
Okay.
That happened. And going through other news, let's see. Sort of more bad news, but sort of not that kind of bad news is, Carlos brought up earlier that Mike, one of the things that are returning this season is Mob Psycho Season 3 for its finale. But a lot of the voice actors, including the star, will not be returning. Because Funimation / Crunchyroll, it's Crunchyroll, but technically it's really Funimation, is moving all their voice acting roles back over to Texas pretty much.
Oh.
So a lot of the Crunchyroll voice acting because there's Funimation's voice acting, which pretty much has been almost exclusively done in Texas for over a decade now.
Mm-hmm.
And Crunchyroll's thing, which has done a lot of Bang Zoom and other stuff situated more in California and LA. So they're moving all their voice actors there. And this one, Mob's voice actor, besides a move, he was trying to push Funimation. Well, I say Funimation because that is the dubbing side of Crunchyroll. It's Crunchyroll now, but when I say Funimation, I just mean the dubbing side of it. Because yeah, the headquarters that this is all happening in is in Funimation's former headquarters, which is now Crunchyroll's dubs headquarters. But yeah, anyway, yeah, he tried to, because he is a California-based actor, tried to really push them to become unionized, and or like he's things like I was like, or his alternative to like them unionizing is to let me have the Crunchyroll executives come and talk with the union about the potential and benefits of unionizing. They kicked him out almost immediately, so Mob's voice actor is not returning. Yeah, because since their dubbing is now.
Who did the actor
because they're dubbing
Mob? Is it for English or for English?
Yeah, this is for the English subs. Yeah, this is the English subs.
Who voiced Mob for English? Dumb question.
I forget his name because like he's not a bigger voice actor like in terms of like a recurring thing because like he's not in Funimation's normal thing because this is Crunchyroll, which is
okay.
Tends to have more one-off. He's done things. I don't want to downplay him. He's a professional voice actor. He's already signed with the SAG union.
Like the one voice actor I recognize from the Mob Psycho cast is literally the guy who plays Reagan. Is literally like a YouTuber by the name of Chris Noisy. Like he's the guy behind like the Terrain, the Magical Expertise or Tome.
Okay.
Like have you heard of it?
There's anyone that I like recognize or something.
Yeah, like that's the thing with Crunchyroll is like Funimation reuses a lot of their same voice actors because a lot are actually in Texas now. Because of that. But Crunchyroll, because it was more LA based, they actually got more diversity in their voice actors.
Right.
More one-off stuff. And Mobs, yeah, because it was California based, and he was like trying to like I can work with them, like I can work with them not on union contract under the condition that they meet with the union representatives, and Crunchyroll kicked him out. Like basically immediately, and basically even refused to acknowledge that offer, which is not surprising at all because one, all corporations hate unions as a baseline. I just understand that. But also, as from someone who's not into the media stuff, let me just say the SAG union, which is what this voice actor union is associated with, or the Screen Actors Guild, is probably one of the worst unions to deal with. They are a very gentleman's club-like organization that has a lot of control over all the movies' production and all that. So, but Crunchyroll, which is their dubbing efforts, are headquartered back in Texas now because of Funimation's work. Texas is a free work state, so they basically can flip off unions. So yeah, they're going to flip off the union.
Boy.
I think it shall work. It's
Makes
basically where
sense.
like you can't. So yeah, that happened. Actually, I'm surprised Carlos didn't mention that because I know a lot of the Facebook group and all the anime groups are like basically protesting. It's like and I was like, I'm not surprised because again, like for my media production background and all that, I'm aware of like the Hollywood unions. They are really bad. Like they are infamous, like hard to work with and protective of like the way I like to describe it is the Hollywood unions are more about protecting their union members than protecting workers under that union. So like it's like hard to break into Hollywood unless basically you get like once you're part of the union, it's basically like once you're a millionaire, like after you're rich, it's easy to stay rich. If you're part of the union, it's easy to stay in the union because they basically highly incentivize Hollywood studios to only use union actors. But yeah, so yeah, that happened. And other sort of like anime related news and sort of good news. Like I mentioned before, like I've been watching should be finishing off cyberpunk anime, The Edge Runners. They had sort of a funny thing that came out about the production for. Let me see, what's a red? Let me see the studio's name. CD Projekt Red. I knew it was Red. It was in the name. CD Projekt Red, the game developer of it and who owns IP. They got some early footage and all that concept art, and they had an issue with one character called Rebecca, who is a very Lolita design character. And they basically went over and said, "Yeah, we want you to remove this." They actually they voted within CD Projekt Red, and they said, "Yeah, we want you to remove this character because it doesn't fit the cyberpunk aesthetic." And Studio Trigger said, basically, not, the lowly must stay. They more or less directly said that to them and held their ground to the character staying in the thing, which is just sort of a funny thing. But I will have to say, though, because I'm not all the way through the series, but yeah, and also the CD Projekt Red person agreed later that, yeah, Rebecca is best girl. And if you watch the show, she really is sort of the best girl. She's a very Harley Quinn-esque character. But just, and she's, even though, like, yeah, she has a basic petite Lolita-ish design, she's very, like, voice-wise, very, you can tell, an older character. Like, she is not a stereotypical Oni-chan character at all, by far.
I gotcha. So when creators actually put their foot down on like, oh yeah, we're not removing a character, and actually succeed, and then they come to realize, oh, this character actually has a bit of a point in existing.
Oh yeah, and it is beneficial because after the Cyberpunk anime was released, the actual player count for Cyberpunk has skyrocketed. So yeah, they basically after said, yeah, we were wrong and admit to it. Yeah, it just reminded me very much of like Miyazaki's saying, I forget whatever that one Hollywood person said. It's like, oh, we want to trim down Princess Mononoke, and Miyazaki just said no cuts.
Apparently, he sent a sword with no cuts written on it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it reminded me of that, but like
Harvey
just
Weinstein or something.
Yeah,
and the sword.
So, this story very much reminded me of that, but basically, yeah, the lowly must stay, which I just find hilarious.
Oh, agreed. The lowly must stay. Makes you wonder who really advocated for that? What kind of person advocated for that? Or do I not, or my part of me doesn't want to know, but yet curious.
I know, like I said, the anime studio, Studio Trigger. Which, yeah, they, like I said, this is one of their better anime, so you know what to do.
Yep.
And then, so other news, which is like, unless it's something I'm aware of, but I could basically dropped this today, and Carlos brought up earlier, is like, yeah, HBO Max is getting legal trouble, and like, there's lawsuits being filed because they apparently faked their numbers. This is very breaking news, so we actually don't know the specifics. HBO, if you haven't been aware of, has been, along with all the Warner Bros. Content, bought by Discovery channels.
No, I didn't know.
Well, that means they're going into that Warner Brothers Discovery merger with that guy who keeps cutting everything.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, be careful what you wish for, but right now it's very easy to want every bit of bad will he's generated here to upend on him.
Yeah, true.
Or his company, at least, because, I mean,
the one
question of a company,
you see. The one plus side of these cuts that have been happening, though, is like he has basically said like he's open to actually licensing out his material to other networks.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually is good for like Netflix and even Amazon possibly getting like DC character rights, or even like say Harley Quinn season 5 or something like that, or Young Justice like might go to Netflix exclusive. That's the way he's wording it. And like, it makes sense. It reminds me very much how Sony is. Sony technically had a streaming website, Crackle, but they basically, they killed it off years ago, basically, but they officially sold it a year or two ago. But yeah, Sony in its place is basically selling content to all the other all the other streaming sites.
Mhm.
Like if you're not aware, if heard a lot. I'm sure many of you, if you've not seen, have heard of The Boys on Amazon.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, that was actually a Sony-made production that's sold to Amazon. That's been sold to Amazon Prime.
Oh.
And like, there's other like Netflix shows. I know actually some, for example, like PlayStation's getting into like licensing their stuff. So they've licensed the Last of Us show is going to HBO. I think Horizon Zero Dawn's going to Netflix.
Is that they actually make a show out of Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, it's in production at Netflix.
What?
And then a lot of the Sony movies are also going to Netflix. So Sony is basically being a third party and selling their stuff to the other streamers. And they actually did something with Disney. I forget what it was, but yeah, they even Disney. So they're basically selling content to everyone in place of having their own streaming thing, which is what the direction I feel the HBO guy wants to essentially do is basically get rid of HBO Max, keep HBO what it was, essentially, and then basically sell off a lot of the content to other streamers like Sony's doing. That's not really the news story, but that's why we brought it up. Yeah, that's the direction I feel they're going.
Right. Interesting.
But yeah, and then other sort of news stories, sort of not media related, but also sort of related to what my own weekend plans were, and also sort of funny and also bad, is that there's a hurricane going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was going to happen.
I saw a Twitter feed actually of somebody who put a camera 6 feet off the ground on one of the streets in can't remember where it was. It's somewhere in Florida. But yeah, no bueno.
Oh boy.
Yeah, because like my own tie-in with this is like I actually had this weekend I was going to go to Dollywood, and Pigeon Forge in that region, but yeah, that is going to be hit not directly by that hurricane, but more like the tropical storm aftermath of it. So
Right.
It's like, I moved it to next week. But yeah, that's so yeah, that's hitting and basically throwing off Florida. But and actually sort of funny, like I've seen this on a roller coaster thing, like Reddit posted, it's like it's actually hilariously true.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch the path of Ian, it's basically like hitting up all the theme parks in the south, like in Florida and the south, because it's making landfall in Tampa, which is where Busch Gardens is, and then it's going from there over to Orlando and hitting basically where SeaWorld, Universal, and Disney World is, and it's going up to north, eventually going to hit through North Carolina into Charlotte, which is where Carowinds is, and then it's going to like seemingly take a turn and like disperse into like the Tennessee area and also like Kentucky area is where the storm's going to disperse, and where, like I said, is where Dollywood is. So it's like it's making a very like theme park tour.
It hates.
Yeah. How about south of the border in South Carolina?
The amount of pain.
Ian hates theme parks. This hurricane's got a grudge.
Sure. All right. I know that several cities in Pennsylvania and Ohio are mortal enemies and we hate each other forever and blah, blah, blah. But I think we can both agree that we're pretty glad to live in states where there's pretty much no chance of any natural disaster, or at least in the cities we live in.
Just knock on
wood.
For that.
Lots of knocking on wood, but yeah, like other than a tornado, and even that a very slight chance of one, I think, we get for whatever flack we get about being, more boring than the New Yorks and the LAs, we have that going for us.
That's the beauty of Cincinnati. It's like we want to be like the big city. We want to be like the big cities. We want to be like the big cities. Like we'll have in Cincinnati especially, they try to be like the big cities. We'll have we'll try to have a little taste of what it's like that some of the big cities have, but we want to keep that quote small town feel. We want to be like the big cities, but at the same time, we don't want to be like the big cities. But the one thing like I think not just in Pennsylvania, Ohio, but in this region of this area that we can be like, hey, or everywhere else is like, it's affordable to live here. Everyone else. And also, these are good places. Like there are places everywhere you could I don't know, if you want to move here for a different pace of life and start a family and all that fun crap,
But it's just sort of off topic, but it's sort of related. Is the one thing I like to say is like this region, which is like Kentucky, Ohio, and I'd say Pennsylvania on the speaking of like Dollywood, the west side of the Appalachian Mountains, is actually sort of one of the most climate change proof areas in the country. Because if you look at how the climate change is going to affect different regions, how they project it, basically the South, like Florida, like is right now, is going to be supposedly get worse storms. It's going to get hotter, which is going to create more storms.
Makes sense.
The Northeast and New York area is supposed to get more winter storms and like that. Now it's supposed to turn out like worse blizzard. The Midwest is supposed to get like droughts, and California is like basically even worse droughts. So it's different, but like sort of similar to those. But in this area, like in the Ohio, West Pennsylvania, like Kentucky areas, that's sort of in between all of that, it sort of cancels out. So yeah. But yeah, that was Ian's happening and is taking an interesting path.
And it hates the
honestly, like I said, like Florida would I say is a state that I actually wouldn't mind living in if it wasn't for all the hurricanes.
What was that SNL sketch with the Republican or not? Yeah. Florida. Orlando. Though this show is sponsored by Orlando. Liberals visit, conservatives live here.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what I've thought about, like other places to live. Part of me is being like quote called to the West. I don't know why. I guess the one that kind of like I don't know just stands in my mind is Colorado.
I remember when deciding trying to decide what the last state that came to mind was, I ended up going with Colorado.
Hey! I think part of it was because I skied when I was a youngster, and I've been to Colorado about 3 times in my life, and I don't know, I guess it just stuck with me. Or maybe I just have an overwhelming need to snowboard.
Cool.
And drink beer because apparently they are now a brewery town.
More or less every large urban center is a brewing town now.
What is?
Yeah, like more or less every large urban center has is a brewing town now with all the craft beers.
My sister, I just got some pictures from my sister. She just went to she and her husband went to Nashville recently. Nashville shocks me the most. Like I was born in Nashville and it was Music City, USA. It was like the Hollywood of country music, and it still kind of is. But now it's ever since, and I hadn't been back there since the 90s and such. But it's changed so much. It's now trendy, and it's now on the bachelorette party circuit, which that shocked me. But also it's and now they got all sorts of cool restaurants and everything popping up and such, and museums that I didn't know about. And she just sent me a picture from a ramen restaurant in Nashville. I was like, what? That's in Nashville?
Hmm.
I was like, are you
Yeah,
kidding
I think
me?
Nashville
They're that
is
trendy? Really?
How about it?
Yeah, even better.
well,
They
like
even had a place that said to have donuts and beer. I'm like, well, that's it. We're just gonna have to get to go road trip.
Right.
well, two things. Like one, Nashville like is like I feel the more urban like it's like the very more moderny trend, like you were saying, trendy city in like
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
So it is having a lot of development, sort of like how Cincinnati actually is having a lot of like redevelopment like over the Rhine area and like
Oh yeah.
craft beer, like just sort of like a lot of the more modern trending stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like Columbus is too, and actually Pittsburgh. All three of this area, basically, the cities that are in the edge of the Rust Belt or aren't really in the Rust Belt are actually flourishing now.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. Very,
Um,
very, 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 very true. Especially, like I said, as you said, Nashville, Cincinnati. Yeah, they're crazy developed. In particular, Nashville apparently also the town that's an hour south of it. Like one of the fastest micro economies that had grown so unreasonably fast.
What is that?
Oh shoot! It was a statistic that my dad had told me about the town I grew up in. It's a hour south from Nashville, and it was like one of the fastest growing micro economies. I don't remember what the statistic was, but it was like I just remember the word was spoken. Like it was a fast growing micro economy.
Okay.
Which I found kind of kind of odd, but like interesting at the same time.
I did just have to learn Walking in Memphis on the piano for my grandma's birthday, which apparently, Memphis and Beale Street is another hot spot.
And also, I did not know that until I left Memphis that apparently it was one of the barbecue capitals of the nation. So imagine
they've got catfish on the table.
They got gospel in the air, and Reverend Green be glad
to see you.
When
if you haven't got a prayer. But boy, you got a prayer in Memphis.
Yeah, speaking of areas that have grown up also is like, I mentioned I was going to like Dollywood and Pigeon Forge. That area has actually grown up a lot too in the last decade or so. Pigeon Forge in particular. Gatlinburg, less so, but mostly because there's not really much space. If you're aware, Gatlinburg is really wedged right between like going up to the Smoky Mountains. So yeah, there's not much space for them to expand, but Pigeon Forge is much, there's more room for it, so it had a lot of growth.
You'd think Gatlinburg would have had some development too, because it just seems like everybody vacationing there, everybody or using the cabins and everything. It seems like everybody vacations there.
Oh no, like I said, it's developed some.
Oh, okay.
But like the area in Gatlinburg, like Gatlinburg proper, hasn't grown as much as because it's modernized but hasn't really grown, but that's just because it really can't because how it's wedged in. There's not really space for them to grow. Well, Pigeon Forge actually has the space, so it actually has a whole bunch of like museums and all that developing now, and
right, makes sense.
It's really grown up, especially since like Dollywood, like I said, is becoming a bigger and bigger theme park to visit. Actually, I think it won a whole bunch of awards this year for park beauty and kids area.
Nice. And of course, when you got
something going for you,
Dolly Parton, pretty much that's pretty much her namesake. So I mean, you can't go wrong.
But speaking of like microbrewery, like that area doesn't really has I think some microbreweries, but actually one thing that's growing in that region is like moonshine is very big. Like the moonshine brand stuff is made there, and like there's like multiple shops that have they're selling their like flavored moonshine stuff.
Flavored moonshine, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. We tried a new recipe over here. A bunch of peaches, and we soaked them in peach tea moonshine, and then put that mixture over vanilla ice cream.
I can see that being fun. Yeah.
The best.
Even if moonshine is still the stereotypical hillbilly drink, maybe the stereotypical one. I think if you want to do a shorthand for, oh, this is a cartoonish hillbilly, you have them drinking moonshine.
Well, here's the thing. I would be like, you know what? I would say, be nice to your moonshiners.
Here, here.
I say, be nice to your moonshiners, and also you don't mess with moonshine, and nor do you mess with moonshiners either. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it almost strikes me, like how moonshine is actually used these days. It almost strikes me as similar to how gin during Prohibition used to be the thing you could make in the bathtub if you were that desperate for it. Bathtub gin.
Bathtub gin. They even now, did you know they have a reality show about moonshiners? And they call it, moonshiners.
I did not know that.
Yes, there's a reality show about moonshiners. There's an app for something. There's an app for that. There's a reality show for that.
Yeah, there's a reality show for a lot of things, aren't there? Isn't there?
Yep, there's an app for everything, and now there's a reality show for everything.
So how about it?
There's a moonshine flavor for everything.
Yeah, there's a moonshine for that.
There's a moonshine for that.
Yeah, actually,
there's a Visine for that.
Yeah, I'm not into drinking much, but that's one thing that has surprised me, that it took them so long to have an actual brand. I was that's selling the moonshine, which is just like corn whiskey.
Boy,
that's not bourbon, because that's also corn whiskey technically. But you know what I mean, what moonshine is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised it took them this long to just start marketing something like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's the news stories I want to go through, and it's also 11:42.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess see y'all next time, which will probably be whatever we decide to do with the react to My Little Pony's Make Your Mark, the actual season on Netflix.
Woohoo!
Interesting.
Which dropped this week earlier.
Get that pony fix again.
So we're gonna see the whole season at once.
Yeah, that's what we gotta work on, because it's 8 episodes, which are actually episode length. So
okay,
we'll figure out that before we record next time how we're gonna do it. Netflix makes it harder with their big drop everything release.
Oh yeah, go get that pony fix again. It's been too long.
We are. The next episode is going to be react to that in some capacity, maybe not all. Well, definitely not all at once, dear Lord. But we'll work out how. But that'll be next time.
Woohoo!
But I guess see y'all then.
Have a good day, everybody.